Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have everyone here. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to get into the meeting. Hopefully, we get a good amount of people here to learn about email deliverability. While we're
A topic that is near and dear to our hearts, right?
That's correct, yes. Everybody wants to know, how does this work? So I just wanted to do some housekeeping first. I have the beautiful Kelly Bojarski with me today, and she is going to be kind of in the background answering questions. If you want to pop into the chat and talk to your fellow agents and brokers and me and whatever, you can do that. But if you have a specific question, please use the Q&A to ask that question, and Kelly can answer it for you. And if she's a question that she thinks is relevant or needs to be brought up to the group, she'll kind of pop in and bring it up to me. I have to sneeze, but I can't. I have really bad allergies, you guys, which looks like my eyes look like I'm I'm a zombie, but I'm really not. Okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen here.
Well, before you do that, does everybody know who you are?
Oh, I guess that's true, huh?
For
So
our
I
friends,
guess it's funny because I used to do success meetups back in the day. It was a couple of years back. I don't know if any of you remember or came to them. I really enjoyed being on live webinars with everybody. But now I am doing a little bit of a different role. So I'm the director of agent success and growth here at Inside Real Estate. And just a little background on me. I used to do virtual assistant work for real estate agents forever. And then I came to work for Inside Real Estate and launched our Done For You services. And then I worked in the pro support department, and now I'm doing this. So I'm just really excited to kind of get you through some stuck points that you might be experiencing with the product and do some next level stuff. And so we're going to do these every Wednesday. Hope to see you all next Wednesday and the Wednesday after, although the last 2 Wednesdays of June, just FYI, I will be in Europe, so we will not be having them, but we will be back at the beginning of July with that. So please make sure to come. Okay, cool. So today we're going to be talking about mastering email deliverability, and I'm sure everyone has issues with that. Not everyone, but if you're here, you probably do. So hopefully we can answer those questions, demystify it a little bit, and make sure everybody's set up the right way to make sure your emails are hitting the inbox and not the spam folder. So the first thing you need to do is you need to understand the battle of the email, right? So if you think about it, I know that I have signed up at 800 different places for all of my online shopping addiction problems, probably. But I get tons and tons of emails, and the email carriers know this, and they know that we probably don't want to see all that stuff in our email. So if they see something that they think doesn't look quite right to them, they are going to send it straight into the spam folder. It's the world we're living in today. And we have to, take some steps to make sure that that doesn't happen. But nothing I tell you today is going to send 100% of all of your emails into the inbox. People have different spam filters set up. It can vary by person to person. It can vary by carrier to carrier, all that good stuff. But it is a battle to get into the inbox and be seen. But there are some really good practices that you can do to make sure that you're doing everything you can to get that in there. And so you might wonder, do I even have a problem? I have people say to me, all my stuff's going to spam. And I was like, well, is it really? So the very first place I want you guys to look to see if you do have a problem is your vitals. So I'm gonna pop over, we're gonna be popping into the platform a lot today, just so I really like to be hands-on so that people can understand where in their platform they see where they can get to stuff. So vitals is right here on the left-hand side, this little heartbeat situation, and I'm gonna click on it. And right up here under your engagement tab is where you can see what's happening with your email. So when you have your email engagement and your success rate, first of all, don't freak. 3% does not mean you successfully sent 3% of your emails. It means that this is the percentage of emails that you're getting a reply back on. Okay. And this is just a demo account, so these aren't, totally true numbers, but it's not going to be 50%, right? You're sending thousands and thousands of emails out through your platform, through listing alerts, market reports, all that stuff. You're not going to have a email success rate that's super high. That's just the way it is. But you can see what your deliverability rate is, and you can see what your open rate is. This is the most important thing because we can't tell from our side if something went to spam or if something went to the inbox, but we can tell if it was opened or not. And an opening is a surefire way to know that it's going into the inbox. So if this number is a good number, you're probably good, right? Like if you're at 41%, that's really, really good actually to get an open rate that high. Um, so this is the first place you want to look to decide, hey, do I even have a problem? And the other thing you can do is under types right here, you can check the different types of emails that, to see what the open rate is. So how are my campaigns doing? So if I click into campaigns, you can see my open rate was cut in half. So maybe my campaigns need some work to get a better open rate. Okay. Manual will always be higher because it's a one-to-one situation. Probably whoever you're emailing one off knows who you are, is expecting that email from you. It's always going to be much higher. Your search alerts, I'm at 40%, that's pretty good. So you can go and look and see where the issues are too, because maybe it's you. If it's, your campaigns, you need better campaigns or whatever. So Kelly, do we have any questions on this before I move on?
Sorry there. I was looking for that video button because I was hiding behind the curtain. No questions so far, just a couple of comments that not everybody has the engagement page on their vitals. So it may be available just on select plans. For any clarification on that, and just to make sure it's not a bug, make sure that you reach out to our support team if you don't see that.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And so now let's pop over into here and go back to here. So when we talk about an open rate, these are some numbers. I pulled them actually from online. This is just kind of industry standard for real estate emails. So if you have a 15 to 20% open rate, you're doing decent. There's room for improvement, but that's a decent open rate. Okay. 20 to 40% is super, super good. It's strong. I wouldn't expect things over 40-ish%. That's just kind of unrealistic to expect. If you're under 15, then we've probably got a problem. The problem could be your subject lines, it could be your sender reputation, it could be your content, or it could be, your email list quality, like I said. Um, you know, those are all things that could be a problem. All right. So what's the first thing we need to do to make sure we don't have a problem? And that is to use a verified domain email address. So I'm going to ask a little quiz here. If you want to stick it in the chat, actually, who can tell me which one of these is a verified domain email address, A, B, or C? Yeah, everybody knows. Okay, yes, C. It is C, and it is because you're using a actual domain. So for those of you who might not know what a verified domain email address is, it is an email address that is built off of a domain. So you have to go to GoDaddy or somewhere else and you have to buy the domain, search for mydreamhouse.com or imthebestagent.com or joesellshomes.com or whatever it is, and you have to purchase and own that domain. It does not have to be a website somewhere. You just have to own the domain. Okay. And then what you need to do is you need to make this into an email address. And so how do you do that? Well, the easiest way to do that, you can pay as like an add-on on GoDaddy and then, add it to something like Outlook. But for what I've, noticed and kind of learned is the easiest thing to do is to go to workspace.google.com and make sure that you sign up here. The pricing literally is $7 a month. You guys, I know you pay for more than that in coffee. I know you do, right? So you definitely want to do that. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I'm going to put this in. Should have done this at the beginning. I have a little doc for you guys. It's got the slides. It's got a bunch of extra stuff that we talked about today. That workspace.com here is here. I'm going to share that with you guys in the chat. So you have it. You can go ahead and bookmark that. It's got a bunch of resources in it. Okay. So you
Heather,
want
we have a couple of great questions that just came in that are pretty relevant right now.
okay. Mhm.
One of them is related to the open rate.
Okay.
Mindy's asking, does the open rate mean they actually open the email? Could they see the preview of it in their email inbox and it's not actually open? And would that affect it?
It kind of depends on the email carrier. Some email carriers like kind of pre-open things for you. But I will say that if they saw it in their email, if they saw the preview, it's not in their spam. So that's a good thing to understand.
That's probably the biggest takeaway of that. And then Hiram asks, what if the domain that they have, the verified domain email address, what if it's a company domain? For example, exprealty.com. They don't own it, but it is a company domain. There's a few folks out there that have that. How does this
Yeah,
affect?
we are going to get to that in a second. But I will say that if you have if the domain that you have is like EXP, Remax, those kinds of things, we've already they those will work and those will work just fine. Those are
And you're going to see the magic reason why.
you're gonna see the magic, right?
Yeah. And then the last question is from Jaquel is if someone set up search alerts for my website, does that mean that any future emails would always go to their inbox?
I'm
Meaning
not
if
sure.
they took an affirmative step to opt in on their website, which they would
Mhm.
have to be able to set up search alerts,
Yeah.
would that impact or would there be any implications that would confirm that those future emails will go into their inbox?
No.
I would have to say yes and no. It's kind of like a it's depends question, but I wanted to hear your take on it.
I mean, technically speaking, if I went and set that up and then I asked for it, I'm going to be looking for it. So if it comes through, I'll probably open it. Then the email carrier is going to say, "Oh, this is something that they want to see on a regular basis. Yay! I'm going to keep sending it through." I might go into my spam and see if it went there first, just to make sure I got it. So those things could definitely help, but it's not to say that Google or anyone else is like, oh, I know that they did it themselves versus they didn't do it themselves, if that makes sense. We good?
We're good.
All right. Okay. So is our verified domain email address enough? And the answer is no, it is not enough. An email server knows if we've sent the email on your behalf. They know this. So setting up DNS records is essential for your emails. What are DNS records? These are records that you put in to make sure that you're telling the servers, I give permission for Inside Real Estate to send emails on my behalf because there's lots of spoofing things out there and scammers out there that can use your email to send things out and it's not actually you. And so those servers want to know, yes, if I send something through my CRM, that's legitimate. Okay. So these are the three records that you have to put in to make this work. And I'm not going to read this whole thing to you guys. I just want you to know that these are the three that need to have to happen. And it looks complicated, but it's not complicated anymore because what we've done is we launched a DNS wizard in your platform a couple months ago to make this super crazy easy so that you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So the DNS wizard lives in your profile. And so I'm going to pull this over and we're going to talk about it. So, oh, Mindy, I'm so glad that you think the DNS browser was amazing. That's awesome. So if you click into your face up at the top and you head on over to your profile, you're going to see that this is the DNS wizard right here on the right-hand side. And I want to address a few things before I get to the DNS wizard. I want to address your login email and your vanity email. Okay, these are really important to understand. So this kind of goes back to if you have like an EXP email or you have a Remax email, because those aren't real emails, right? They're a relay. They relay over to whatever email that you've decided you want to use. Now, if you want to use that Remax email or EXP email or whatever it is, you can totally do that. You will not want to put anything, I'm going to hit edit here. You're going to not want to
Heather,
put
can you make it just a
anything.
smidge bigger?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You are not going to want to put anything in your vanity email address. Here's the rub, and I'm sorry, okay? The rub is right up here is where you connect Google or Outlook to your platform. And if you want to do that, it has to match either this one, and if it doesn't, it has to match this one. What does this do up here? This isn't email deliverability so much so as it is when you are emailing back and forth through the platform, all of the emails, it can track them and put them in to your contact record when you have this enabled. And also it enables your calendar to be synced so that if you can do things like do appointments and all that good stuff. So I think everybody would like to have that synced up. So if this email you have access to, meaning it's, your email, you have an actual inbox for that email, this email should be connected up here. You're going to connect it here or here. Okay. If it's not, because it's Remax or if it's EXP, I would highly recommend getting a verified domain email address of your own, put it here, and then how like you have to tell EXP or Remax or whoever where to forward that relay email to. Use that verified domain email address in whatever you're doing for work to forward it to. Okay? I hope that makes sense. This right here, insiderealestate.com, is my email address. This will work just fine for me because I have an inbox and I can connect it up here if I want to, and I'm good. And the thing is that my company, insiderealestate.com, or your company, has probably already done this. And you will know that if your email domain DNS is grayed out right here, it means that your company already took care of this for you. So if your company is greatestrealestatebrokerage.com, and there's all of you have Joe at greatestrealestatebrokerage.com and Mary at greatestrealestatebrokerage.com, once the DNS records are set up for that domain, any email with that domain is good. So your email DNS will be grayed out if your company has done it for you. And if your domain is the same as your Bold Trail website, 99% of the time, it's already done for you. We do it when we set up the whole platform anyway for you guys. Okay? Now, why did I put a different one in here? I put a different one in here because I want to walk you through how this works. And if I left it alone, this would be grayed out for me because InsideRealEstate.com has already set this up for me. I'm going to pause here. Kelly, do we have any questions?
We do. We do have
Okay.
a few questions. And some of them are popping up in chat here, so I'm trying not to butcher them if you want to check over in chat. Mindy's clarifying, so I don't need a vanity email address. My account email is enough.
If your account email is a verified domain email address, you do not need something else. However, if it is a relay email from your company like EXP or Remax, and you want to connect up here, you do.
And how would they know it's a relay email?
They'd have to talk to their broker. I do know that EXP and Remax are both relay emails, but they would need to talk to the broker. And in fact, you'll know because can you log in? Is there an email inbox somewhere that is that email address? If it's not, if you're forwarding it to Sally Smith at Gmail, then you know it's not, it's a relay email. It's not an actual email address.
Okay, and then another question is, hey, does connecting my Gmail or Outlook, and I'm assuming it's using that little envelope,
Mhm.
that convenience tool that's there, does that help email deliverability?
Um, it doesn't help it, but it can hurt it if you connect one that is not this. So whatever you connect, it has to be it has to be this one. And if you have a vanity email address, it has to be that one. So what I'm saying is that if you've got remax.com here and you're forwarding remax.com to Sally Smith at Gmail, and Sally Smith at Gmail is not here, you can't do that. And nor do you want to put Sally Smith at Gmail there because it's not a verified domain email address.
Verified, I always get this wrong. Verified domain email address simply indicates that you've got like a domain that's attached to it. So many of us have that free Gmail account. That's not what we're talking about, right, Heather?
Right. And you don't have to have a website. So if you
Exactly.
have GoDaddy and you buy sallysmithrealestate.com, there doesn't have to be a website that is sallysmithrealestate.com. You just need to own that domain. You've paid for it and make an email out of it. And the easiest way to do that is through Google Workspace.
And wouldn't you say that's typically how most people start off is like they start off with the free Gmail account, they get their feet wet in there, they've got kellysellsrealestate.com as their website in mind, that they'd like to have eventually, but maybe they start with, kelly@gmail.com, right? And then and then they go in and they purchase that domain. And now they have the option, do I want a website with this? Do I want to have emails that go with this? This is how you start to grow and expand your business. So it's a very industry standard to have a verified domain.
It really is. It's a cost of doing business. And I know people are like, oh, I don't want to pay for, first of all, a domain isn't normally that much money. It's, it depends on if you bought something really crazy, but, if it's your name.com or something, it's going to be what? What does it cost? You think?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think when I bought mine, now remember, I've got, Bojarski is my last name. So it was like 35 cents when I bought
Yeah.
mine.
It doesn't cost that much.
It was super cheap.
And then, Google Workspace is like $7 a month.
Yeah.
So it's really not something that you should balk at. It really is a cost of doing business and to be seen as legitimate business person sending out emails in this day and age, for sure.
Right. And then there's a couple of folks who are saying, hey, I've looked in my profile and I don't see email domain DNS. It's not even showing up there. I have not heard that before.
If
I've heard
you
it's being grayed out, which means that you can't, just the email domain DNS.
Oh, if it's grayed out or it might have a check mark by it and be grayed out, that means that your company has already done it for you. It means that you are good to go. You're using, oh, actually, that's not true. You know what? Here's one other thing here. I want to show you guys. If you have a vanity domain or you have an account email that is not let's do that here. Let's see. They're about in. Let's do my Gmail. This is my Gmail. What happens when, oh, what happens when you're already using, this is really important. What happens when you're using let me put my code in here. Hang on a second. What happens if you do this and you save it? Save this here, show you. If you're using a non-verified domain email address, what is it doing?
Well, I saw that little fail button pop up.
Usually what ends up happening is, email alias field is required. Oh, sorry, my name. My bad. Oh no. That's weird. Well, what should happen is if either this address or this address is a Gmail or a Verizon.net, not a verified domain email address, we have it's called realestatealerts.com. We bought a domain for you and we actually use that domain instead. And if that happens, this will also be grayed out because we have already set up the information for that domain. Do you want to use that? Absolutely no, you don't want to use that. Okay. What we did was we did that as like a fail safe because if you're going to use Gmail, it's going to go straight to spam. No questions asked. If you use realestatealerts.com, which we bought, it helps a little bit. But here's the problem is that every single person in our platform that uses a Gmail or a Verizon.net or whatever it is using realestatealerts.com. And so you're stuck with the email reputation of all those people, which you do not want. I promise you, you do not want that. So what happens is it better than gmail.com? Yes. Is it anywhere close to what it would be if you have your own? No. So you don't want to do that. So if you see in here that you're using realestatealerts.com, this will be grayed out. Why? Because we already set up realestatealerts.com. Okay. But you definitely want to not use that. Okay. So that's the reasons why this might be grayed out. Either you're using realestatealerts.com, which you don't want to do, or your company has already set it up for you. Okay? Okay. So let's go through this here. What do you do if you need to set it up? So here's how we go. So if we click into the email domain DNS, so first of all, mine is, I stole Kelly's because Kelly owns her own domain, kellywojarski.com. So I have the email heather@kellywojarski.com. You're going to pop into email domain DNS, and you are going to add these records. How do we add these records? Well, you have to log into GoDaddy. And once you're into GoDaddy or wherever you bought this at, now there's different platforms. You have to go into wherever you manage the DNS. So the DNS is right here in GoDaddy. I'm going to click it. And from here, I'm going to add a new record. So the first record, remember we talked about, was that TXT SPF one that was on my earlier slide. So it gives you everything. You just copy it. Copy the host name. It's a TXT. Paste it. Copy the value. Paste it. And the TTL, which is, now this is in seconds, guys. That's an hour, by the way. So I'm going to do 1 hour in GoDaddy, and I'm going to save it. So now I'm going to add another record. So I'm going to say next. That's that DKIM I talked about. Copy. Always a TXT. Value. Copy. And then we want that hour again and save it. I think I had this in here already from before. That's why it's asking me that. Okay. And then, thought I deleted them all because I've run this a couple times. Add new record. And then you're going to go to the next one, which is going to be our DMARC. We're going to copy this. And we are going to copy this. Did I do that right? Yes. And then again, instead of copying that, I'm just going to choose an hour. And I'm going to save it. So that's really how you do it. And it's that easy. And so after you're done, you're going to click validate. And so what it's going to do is it's going to check to see if this is correct or if it's not correct. Now, if it's not correct, don't freak out. It's usually because it can take 24 to 48 hours. So right now they verified these two. This one might not work right now. Just come back 24 to 48 hours later and give it a try again. If it didn't work after that, check it. If it's wrong, make sure you fix it. If you're still having an issue after that, you're going to want to go down to your support chat bubble and let them know you're having a problem, and they can help you with that. Okay? But usually it can take 24 to 48 hours for all of them, especially the DMARC. And then once that's done, once it's verified, this will be grayed out. Any questions on how to do that? Have you any questions, Kelly?
Nope.
Okay. Awesome. That was the hard part. So now let's go a little bit further and talk about our sender reputation. So you can do all of those things. And if you still have a poor open rate or things are still landing in spam, it's you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be sending your content to people that wanted it. They should have opted in on your website somewhere. They should have asked for communication from you. Do not, I repeat, do not go buy a list of all the people that live in, your farm area, or all the people that have an expired property or whatever. If you're going to do things like that, I know people do that. Use a different email and put it in a different platform like MailChimp or something, okay? Because you're going to ruin the email reputation of your domain if you send out to like 1,000 people. No one's expecting it. They're going to mark it as spam. They're not going to open it, and it's going to degrade your email reputation. I beg you not to do this, okay? If you have to do it, like I said, put it in like a MailChimp and use a different email address when you're sending it out. All right. You want to give them what they asked for. So if they signed up for listing alerts, give them listing alerts. Don't send them the weather or news about your dog or whatever it is. Give them what they asked for. And the number one thing that people open are listing alerts. It's the thing they want to see. They want to see listings. Kelly.
Vicky has kind of a comment slash question.
Mm-hmm.
As you were going through, make sure that they've opted in. Vicky's comment was, well, wait, they've already opted it in. Why are they still going to spam? I send them listings and they go into their spam, for example.
Well, that could be a number of reasons. One of those reasons could be that you have a bad email reputation. It could have been that you don't have your DNS record set up properly. And again, they might not every single one is not going to go to spam. So if they've asked for it, you might want to follow up with a text message. Hey, I just sent you an email with all those listings you asked for. Check your spam, make sure it didn't go there. Because if your email reputation is bad to begin with, or it is a brand new email, which we're going to talk about, that can cause a problem. All right. So the next thing is to grow your reputation. So if you didn't have a verified domain email address and you have just purchased one, for all that is holy, please do not put it into Bold Trail right away. Why? Because if you have, I mean, if you have 200 contacts in Bold Trail, fine. If you have 3,000 contacts in Bold Trail and you put it in there and you start sending listing alerts from a brand new baby email with no reputation, no sender reputation whatsoever, you're going to have a problem. Okay, you want to nurture that email before you put it into Bold Trail. So, what you're going to want to do, and this is your strategy, is you are going to want to, before you put it into Bold Trail, start emailing all your friends and family, right? Import your address book into this new email them and be like, hey, this is my new business email address. I'm trying to grow my email reputation. Can you do me a favor and just open it? Maybe put a link in there they can click on. And all of those things tells the email servers that this is a legit thing. People are expecting your email and they want it. Okay. Once you do that and you have started to kind of grow it or whatever, then put it into Bold Trail and send maybe a mass email to your sphere, people that know you and that have already gotten an email from you from your inbox of your regular email. And they see it again, be like, hey, it's me again. Give them something that they, I just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. Can you do this for me? Click or open. Then you can worry about getting everybody else, onto your email address. So that's what you want to do if you have a brand new address that's never been used. Do not tank it out of the gate. Okay? Questions, Kelly?
Not as much a question, but I love that Scott brought this up in the chat. He says, hey, I've never even heard of email reputation in a CRM before. Is this something special with Bold Trail? And I was typing out the answer, but I think it's really good to just maybe chat about that for a second because maybe it's not a topic that is widely as discussed as it should be, but having a good sender reputation is critical for deliverability in business emails, especially business emails.
Absolutely. And it's not Bold Trail specific. It's any CRM, or it's even just if you didn't even have it in a CRM, but what happens with the CRM, if you think about it, is instead of going from your regular email, which how many emails do you send one off through your regular email a day? Not that many. You put something into a CRM, and now suddenly, let's say you've got 3,000 contacts in there, and they're all in a market report, and they're all in a listing alert, and they're all in a campaign. What's going to happen? Well, now you're sending thousands of emails. And so you've gone from, your regular email where you're sending one-offs to people, 10 a day, and they're all getting opened because people know you and want to open your emails, to sending thousands of emails a day. And so the percent that gets opened drops precipitously. Okay. And so that's the difference
An
about
SAT word right there, man.
um, so that's the difference between using it in a CRM and not using it in a CRM. It's not Bold Trail specifically. It's that the mass sheer number of emails that you're sending on a daily basis is large, and the number of opens you're going to get is not, I mean, not everyone's going to open those emails, right? Like think about how many people that you called up because they registered at your website and they're like, I don't even remember doing that. I don't know who you are. Like not all these people are going to open your emails. It just isn't feasibly possible. And like I said, you look at those industry averages, if you get to 40%, that's amazing. If you're, even 20%, that's decent. So you have to understand that that's the difference.
And I think it's really important to go, if we rewind and go right back to the beginning of this webinar, there was that really great image of, that real estate agent that's just tugging really hard on trying, tugging, it's like a game of tug of war with email servers out there. The more that we try to get our messaging and our emails out in business emails, there's always going to be third party third parties like email servers and these larger entities that are trying to protect the reputation of their software like Google and Outlook, and making sure that that it's like getting junk mail all the time, right? They want to make sure that those are always being protected and that they're doing right by their customers. So it is a battle, and it's something that we're combating all the time. Bold Trail does a really great job of putting some guardrails and enhancements in to try and get your emails delivered. I know Heather's going to probably talk a little bit more about like batching emails and how to send those things out. So I think it's important to kind of keep that in mind.
Hmm. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was, repairing your sender reputation. Maybe you've done all the things. You have a verified domain email address. You've set up your DNS. Um, your email reputation could still be poor, and so that really has to do with kind of what you've been sending and those kinds of things. So also think about if you're using, for instance, again, remax.com, or maybe you're with a brokerage where you have an email address with that brokerage, and that brokerage has 2,000 agents in it. Your sender reputation is on the domain, not on your individual email. So you're at the mercy of what all of those other agents are doing with their email address. So if they put that email address in a MailChimp and they're sending it out to, crappy leads or whatever, or they're even doing it through Bold Trail, that can degrade your sender reputation too. So it might behoove you to get your own verified domain email address, even if your company has given you one. And again, check your vitals. Like if your open rate's good, if you're okay, don't bother. But if you are seeing a problem, you might want to go that direction. Okay. So what do we do if we got that problem? Well, the problem might be number one, getting your own vanity email address. The other one might be temporary archiving unengaged contacts and slowly re-engaging them. Because like I said, if you have 3,000 people in your database and you're sending listing alerts out to all 3,000 of them, and 2,000 of them have never opened it, already that's a much lower percentage. So what you want to do is if you take, let's say you've got 3,000, let's do a little math. You've got 3,000 people in your database. You're sending them all listing alerts, and 2,000 of them have never opened anything. Never. Okay. And let's say that, 1,000 of them have opened something. That's a 33% open rate, which isn't bad actually. But if you took those 2,000 people away, your open rate becomes now 100, if that makes sense on percentage wise. So those aren't, totally normal numbers, but it's just as an illustration. So what do you do? So if you go over into your contacts what I would do is I would search up some stuff. So I would say, let's go to our smart filters and let's check out people who have been emailed in the last, let's say, this month. So I've emailed them this month. Let's see if I even have anybody. Okay, so these are the people I've emailed this month. And then I'm going to go and say, when was their last visit? Because if you think about it, if you're emailing them listing alerts and they're opening and clicking on them, they've been to your website, right? So if you see people here, they haven't been there for a year, I've sent them 99 emails. Maybe you see somebody that they've never been there. They've never been to your website. I've sent them 99 emails. It looks like I've had a back and forth text, so maybe maybe that's not somebody you want, but let's say you've never texted with them, no one's ever talked to them, you don't know what's up, they've been in your system for 2 years. This might be somebody you want to archive, okay? So what I would do is I would click here. There's a couple ways to do that. You can click here and you can go into this lead and archive it. But what you'd probably want to do is you would probably want to add a hashtag that says, actually, you're going to want to add your hashtag before you archive it. Otherwise, it's not going to let you do anything. Oopsie. I'm going to add hashtag temp archive so that I know that I didn't archive them because they were a bad lead or whatever. I archived them because of this issue that I'm having, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and archive them. The other thing you can do is if you have a whole list of them, unfortunately, you cannot, let's say you have all these people, you want to do it all together. You cannot mass archive people, unfortunately. But what you can do is you can set up a campaign that is triggered by a hashtag that will archive them. So what I did over in my campaigns, I'm going to show you this, but you don't have to do this because I already made this for you, is I did a archive campaign. You find it right here. So I made a campaign that the only step is to change the status to archive when the hashtag is temp archive. So if I add temp archive as a hashtag in mass, it will mass archive those folks for you. On that page I gave you guys, where did I put it? Is the real question. I must have shut it down. Hang on a sec. On that Google Doc I gave you is a share code for that exact campaign. So you don't even have to make the campaign. You can copy this share code. You can go to your campaigns and right here, you can paste that share code in there. Click this again, it will just import that campaign for you. And then you'll have it. It was a little present for me. So then you could go into, and you want to make sure it's on or it's not going to work. And you could go into your contacts and I could say, I want to add a hashtag of temp archive to all these people. And when I do that, it's going to add that campaign and it's going to archive them. Does anybody have any questions about how to do that?
No, sorry, I was grabbing your doc again because a few folks joined late and are wanting to get access to that document.
Oh, here, I'll put it right here.
Thank you.
Okay, so then what you're going to do is if you do that and you temporary archive, all those folks, let's wait for that email to get your send your reputation to grow and get back to where it needs to be. Then, Kelly, yes.
I do have one more thought because a couple of people are a little confused. They're thinking that temporary archive is actually a new status. It's not. What we're doing is we're we're basically putting them in a holding pattern. And a couple of questions came in earlier about what's the difference between deleting and archiving. And this is super important to understand. When you delete a contact from your Bold Trail account, it's gone, poof, never coming back. We can't retrieve them. So it's literally a hard stop. But if you archive them, it's like the basement of Bold Trail where you can literally just shut everything down and just kind of puts them in a little holding pattern, doesn't remove any of their historical data, their contact information, their history, their time. It doesn't do anything except turn off all those communications and just puts them away so that you can maybe revive them later. So when we say temp archive, what we're doing is we're just giving those people a label that is saying, hey, let's just put them in a temporary holding pattern until we can slowly, work through that list and try and bring them back to life, if you will.
So what I would do if I were you is I would do that. Make sure that you help your sender reputation. You start to see your open rate go up. You start to see things happening. Yay. What do I do with all those people we put into archive? We can find them again if we gave them that hashtag temp archive. So you can go into your filters and say, I want to get all of my contacts that are archived and that have the hashtag, that temp archive hashtag. So it's not a status, temporary archive. It's just, I added that hashtag to them. So that's that one I did. And so you can maybe choose 10 of them and send them a direct email, like not something canned or whatever, and say, hey, you signed up my website a year ago asking for listings or whatever. I want to check in with you on your home search. Can I start sending you listings again? Are you missing out on them? Like whatever. And the people that, you'll have to unarchive them to do it, right? But when they respond to you, then you can be like, okay, great. I'm going to start putting them back on listing alerts, putting them back on market reports, that kind of stuff. Okay. That is your strategy for helping fix your reputation, if that's what you're doing. Okay. All right. Last but not least, we want to talk about the first email you send to people. So when somebody is brand new to your platform and they've never gotten an email from you before, your first email matters. You could send them something that's plain like this, or you could send them something that has tons of links in it and lots of pictures and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and you've used our advanced editor email situation. It's just so pretty. I beg you, don't do that. Send them the one on the right because this looks spammy. I'm not saying you can't ever send this. I'm saying the very first time you send them something, it should be this. So if the first email you have in your campaigns has a video in it, and I know I love video more than anybody, send them a plain text email first. Don't be putting links in there. Don't be putting pictures in there. If you have the other thing is if you have your signature and has a bunch of links in it, don't add your signature. Just put your name, okay? Keep it as plain as possible because when you put links in, what does that say to the email carrier? The email carrier says they want them to take some kind of action and click on something. And that's a big red flag for spam, right? Like they want them to click something and then it's going to download the malware and blah, blah. No. So make sure the first email you send someone is not that, okay? Your listing alerts do have links in them. Make sure you send them an email before the listing alert gets sent. Listing alert doesn't get set up for 48 hours. You've got that time frame. Go in. You could have a campaign that goes immediately, so you don't have to worry about it. That is something like this. You want to make sure maybe even the second email you send is something like this. You want to get past those filters. You want to get into the inbox. You want to get it opened. You want to make sure that you can become friends with their email inbox. Your email address and their inbox are friends. Okay? Think about subject lines that are not spammy, but will get you an open. How do you do that? Oh my gosh, we have this cool thing called AI now. And you can just ask it, what's a good first email I can send to someone in my real estate who's asked for listings and I want to have a good email subject line that doesn't seem spammy, but also will get opened. Things like that. Okay. Make sure you be thoughtful about those things. The last thing I want to say is the campaigns that we have in there for you. There are default campaigns in your platform. We put them in because we know not everyone is going to go in and write their own campaigns. However, understand that if you use those campaigns, you're sending the same exact content with the same exact subject lines. I don't know. How many users do you think we have, Kelly? Like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 users? Like literally you're sending the same content as everyone else. It behooves you to go into your campaigns and change those subject lines and change the content a little.
And behavioral automations.
And your behavioral automations, that too. Let me pop this over real fast. So if you go into your marketing tab and you go into your smart campaigns and you're using mine say core, but it's because I've been in here a while, but yours will say default, right? The default ones. You can just clone this. You don't have to rewrite a whole campaign, right? You could clone this campaign. And when you do that, you could just go in, or if it's under your user, you can go ahead and edit this. Just go in and edit it. Throw this into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to rewrite this for me with a new subject line, given that I live in Florida and I serve a vacation community or whatever. Like give it a little bit of information about you that it can make it personalized, and just go in and copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and change out this stuff. So you're not sending the same thing that everybody else is. It's not, it takes a little bit of time. Give yourself a couple of hours to do it. It will bear so much fruit for you if you take that time and redo those campaigns for yourself that only you is sending and not 20, 30,000 other people. Okay? Okay. Any questions we want to get to, Kelly, before we
Well, maybe if you could pop
wrap
back
up?
into a contact record real quick. We have a couple of new folks to Bold Trail that are still trying to kind of navigate around like, hey, how do I know what's already set up for my contacts so that they're getting automations? Maybe they're already on a smart campaign, maybe they're
Mhm.
getting listing alerts. How do I know if a contact is getting things?
So when you click into a contact, first of all, the middle part, you're going to see all the communication that's already been sent. But on the right-hand side, you can see what is set up. So this person does not have a search alert set up. This person does have a campaign set up, doesn't have a market report, doesn't have a listing valuation. So the only thing this one really has set up is that. Let's see if I can find somebody that has a search alert set up. This is my demo account, but so this person has a search alert set up, but no campaign, no market report. So there's all that good stuff.
That's a
Okay.
good one to show off in the search alerts. I love when you add a search alert that you can, some people, if you click on add real quick right there, this is another place where you can see where we kind of put up a guardrail in the save settings where you can choose the frequency and the subject line, how you can use the dynamic one or you can use um,
Yeah.
the custom one. This is a great place to show that, hey, if you use that dynamic subject line, Bold Trail will change that subject line for you. So it's not always the same thing over and over again versus that custom line. Some people want to just have it say like search alerts from Kelly.
Right. But if you do that, you're sending the same subject over and over and over again. We have this in here because we know people want it, but I counsel you against using it unless it's a person that you know is already getting it from you and wants it. And, it's like your client you're working with on a daily basis. It's an alert you set up for your Aunt Martha for only things that happen around her house, and it's only going to fire 2 times a year. Those kinds of things are okay. But on the whole, you're going to want to send this as a dynamic subject line. We put like an address of one of the listings and then we change up what it said, like fresh properties, new alert, blah, blah, blah. So that's not sending the same thing over and over again.
Can you tell them a little bit about how we also have some guardrails in scheduled mass emails with batches?
Yes. So if you are in your marketing tab and you go into your mass emails, first of all, we have just so you know. You can also see your delivery rate and your click rate and all that for any scheduled mass email that you have. So that's if you don't have your engagement tab on Vitals, you could, send out a mass email and see kind of get a good idea of what your open and your click-through rate is for a mass email. But what we do is when you schedule an email, you have to give it 24 hours. You can't schedule it for an hour from now. It has to be at least 24 hours in advance. And on top of that, if you've sent it to 10,000 people, 10,000 people are not getting your email at whatever time you picked because we send it in batches of, I think, 100 to keep it from going to spam. Because if they see it going out in a huge batch of, 10,000 people, it's just going to go straight to spam. So we do it
I
in
always say we,
batches.
we try to fly low under the radar.
Yeah. Um, so it's really important though, if you're having an open house at 2 o'clock and you're sending it out to 10,000 people at 1 o'clock, half those people probably won't get it by 2 o'clock because we're sending it in batches. So just be cognizant of that you're not sending out a mass email that's time sensitive. Give it time to go through for sure. Okay. Anything else we got before we wrap up?
I let's see, let me check the chat real quick. Aaron asked, do smart campaigns do the same thing if they are date triggered send out in batches?
Yes.
See, we've got guardrails everywhere.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it. There may be some things that got lost in chat. Let me just take one last look in here. Um, Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Doreen says, hey, this may sound like a crazy question. Doreen, there are no such thing.
No crazy question.
Um, no crazy questions. But if someone has opted out of emails and are posted as do not call, should I just archive them altogether?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to because we won't send anything to them anyway, but I would probably just archive them. Yeah.
Well, these are people that are basically telling you go pound sand. So, but what if you happen to have, maybe you have their primary address, Doreen, and maybe you want to send out maybe a postcard. Remember, if you have their primary address, you can go print address labels from the more section, and maybe you just send them a good old-fashioned letter in the mail or a postcard. So I think it's always going to be kind of an it depends scenario, but
Yeah.
if somebody's opted out and is basically saying don't call and unsubscribing to text, yeah, they're sending you a message, Doreen. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I would be remiss if I didn't urge everyone who has an iPhone, an Apple iPhone, to download our new Streams app. I don't know how many of you have heard of it or have been using it. It is our new Bold Trail app, and it is phenomenal because it's all AI based. You can just talk to it and tell it to do stuff like, hey, add this contact, or hey, send this email and write this email for me. It's truly amazing. And so if you haven't had a chance to download it and you have an Apple device, you can download it. Now, you might be an Android user like me. Meh. And if that's the case, I have another, I'm going to leave this up for a second, but if you're an Android user, my next slide, you can download, well, not download it yet, but you can get on the list for the beta, which I heard is happening very soon, hopefully sometime maybe the end of this month-ish, so that you can get on that too. Yes, Genie, Androids are the best, so I totally agree.
I beg to
It's
differ.
coming
I beg to
very
differ.
soon. So there you go. So hey, so if you want to do that, go ahead and scan this QR code if you have that, and I'll leave this up for one more second. And then if you have an Android, right over here on the left-hand side, you can go ahead and get on the wait list for the beta, which I said is definitely coming soon. I know they're trying to get this out as quick as possible. So definitely want everyone to do that. And
And
that,
while you're doing that, we did have several questions throughout the session about how they can access this recording later. So if you want to tell them how they can, I've been pointing them to the YouTube channel that we will be creating a playlist.
this
Um,
first one of Breakthrough Live, which I'm so excited, but
the inaugural session. Well, thank you for joining us.
there will be a playlist on our YouTube channel. I put our YouTube channel on the Google Doc as well. So give us a couple of days to get that up, and that will be there for you for sure. Yes, the login for Streams is exactly the same login you use to log into your Bold Trail account. Or if you like, I think a Remax person said, yeah, if you're Remax, whatever you log into Remax.net with, or EXP with, or whatever. Um, oh, thank you. Thanks, Bill. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Any last questions before I wrap up? I think someone asked about editing smart campaigns, and you would just go to marketing, smart campaigns, or use your Omni search there. But you can click into any of these and you can click edit. If you don't see the edit button, it means that it's owned by someone above you, like the company or the user. And all you have to do is clone the campaign to yourself first, rename it, and then you'll be able to edit each one. And yeah, awesome. All right. Well,
Well,
thank you
before we
guys
log
so much.
off, one last time, I'm going to post in the chat for anybody who needs it. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the very first session of the Breakthrough Live sessions, so we haven't even created the playlist yet. This will be the first one on there. So make sure that you grab the link that I just posted in chat. And also, Heather, you want to put that resource art, document in there one last time?
Yep. And guys, so I hope I see everyone next week. We're going to be talking about adding contacts and all of the things that keep you from adding your contacts. So all the places everybody's like, I'm scared to add my contacts. I don't know what's going to happen. And you're going to send them a bunch of stuff. And we're going to totally demystify it. I'm going to show you exactly where we have all of those automations where you can turn them on, turn them off, personalize them, all that stuff so that you guys feel totally comfortable getting your contacts in. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Like I said, I'm going on vacay. But then I'll be back in June for some more sessions. So they're all on if you signed up for this one, you're signed up for all of them. You'll get reminders. So please come. I would love to see everybody next week. Yes, you signed up. You're signed up automatically. Let's all get together every week. It'll be exciting. See everybody.
Absolutely. And for Scott, one last tip for Scott. He's brand new to Bold Trail as of today. Yes, please be sure to upload all of your contacts. Come to Heather's session next week so that you can learn all about that. And
Oh, one more thing.
we always have one more thing.
No, I'll say one more thing. I put this where it says all training webinars, but this is our Bold Trail webinar schedule. I mean, there's so much, you guys, okay? That if you want to learn how to use Bold Trail, you can learn how to use Bold Trail. Breakthrough Live, these are mine right here. But right up here, if you don't have contacts and you need to figure out who do I know I need to get 100 contacts in, this is later today, isn't it, Kelly?
Nope, it's my session tomorrow. You still have
Tomorrow.
time to
Okay.
register. So for
So
those of
you
you
can
that,
register if you want to
yeah,
do that. This is just a workshop on brainstorming how to get 100 contacts into a list that you can upload. So come to that or come to any of these things, but we'll see everybody there. All right, we'll wrap it up. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody. If I could find the thing. Turns it off. Don't know. Oh, there it is. All right, bye, everybody.
bye everybody.